This is TPI, the podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something I think really incredible. We're going to take a deep dive into uncovering lost Black genealogy.
Wow.
And trust me, this story is as fascinating as it is important. So are you ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, great. So we're going to focus on the work of Diana Roman, who's doing some really groundbreaking things in the world of genealogy. She's based in Lake Martin, and her journey started in a way you might not expect.
Right. Diana didn't actually set out to be a genealogy expert.
Yeah.
She actually moved to Lake Martin from Atlanta.
Okay.
And it was a book about her own family history, the Hairstons,
Yeah.
a family in black and white that kind of sparked this whole incredible journey for her.
You know, I was reading about that book. And
Yeah.
it sounds like it reveals some pretty shocking information about the Hairston family, right?
It did. The book was written by Henry Wiencheck,
Okay.
and it reveals that the Hairstons were one of the largest slave-owning families in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, they owned 42 plantations and over 10,000 slaves.
Whoa, 10,000 slaves. That's just,
It's a lot.
it's hard to even fathom, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing that really got me. They rarely sold their slaves, and they kept these meticulous records
Wow.
in 15 ledgers.
Mm-hmm.
Those ledgers are like a gold mine for anyone trying to trace their ancestry back to that time period.
Exactly. Yeah, they contain birth dates, death dates, marriages,
Wow.
and even the names of parents and children. This level of detail is incredibly rare, especially for Black families whose histories were often, erased or
Right.
obscured during slavery.
So these ledgers could be the key to breaking through a major obstacle in Black genealogy research, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about that infamous brick wall I keep hearing about.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Got it.
The brick wall refers to the 1870 census,
Okay,
which was the first U.S. census to list Black people as citizens with names.
gotcha.
Before 1870, they were simply listed as property.
Wow.
So imagine trying to trace your family tree back further than that. You hit this wall because the records just aren't there.
I see. So the Hairston ledgers, with all that detailed information spanning years, could potentially fill in those gaps and help people connect with their ancestors.
Exactly. It's like finding a missing piece of a giant puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's something that Diana Roman realized could have a huge impact on countless lives.
Okay, so Diana has this incredible discovery. What does she do next? Does she just keep this information to herself?
No way. Diana's not the type to sit on something this important.
Right.
She recognized the potential impact of these ledgers
Mm-hmm.
and reached out to Sharon Leslie Morgan,
Okay.
the founder of Our Black Ancestry.
Our Black Ancestry. That's an organization dedicated to preserving and sharing Black genealogical data, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Diana knew that to make a real difference, she needed to collaborate with an organization that specialized in this type of work.
Right.
So she and Sharon teamed up to digitize the Hairston ledgers, making this invaluable information accessible to a wider audience.
That's amazing. And I read that they also conduct corporate training on historical trauma, which is really fascinating.
Yes, they do. It's so important to approach this kind of work with sensitivity and awareness.
Yeah.
Uncovering these histories can be incredibly emotional and even painful for some people, so they incorporate that understanding into their training.
It's so inspiring to see Diana taking such proactive steps to ensure these stories are shared responsibly and with care.
Mm-hmm.
She's not just focused on the facts and figures, she's really thinking about the human impact of this work.
Absolutely. And while she was collaborating with Our Black Ancestry, she was also working on something else, her own book called 9 Epiphanies.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask about that.
Yeah.
9 Epiphanies. What's that all about?
It's a collection of insights and lessons that Diana learned through her genealogical work,
Okay.
especially as she delved into the complexities of race and history.
Yeah.
She was actually encouraged to write the book by a women's group she was a part of.
Oh, cool.
They saw how passionate she was about this work and urged her to share her story.
That's fantastic. So these 9 epiphanies, are they like big aha moments?
Yes.
That shifted her perspective on things.
Exactly. There are these profound realizations she had as she pieced together not just her own family history, but also the larger context of slavery and its legacy.
Wow.
And, one of the most surprising revelations comes from her very first epiphany.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
What's the first epiphany?
Diana discovered that the 13th Amendment, which we all learned abolished slavery, didn't actually get rid of it completely.
Really?
Yeah, there was this loophole a clause that allowed for re-enslavement as a form of punishment for federal crimes.
Wait, hold on. So even after the Civil War, slavery could still exist under the law.
It's crazy, right?
That seems crazy.
And what's even worse is that Southern states took advantage of this loophole.
Oh, no.
They enacted all these new laws that specifically targeted Black people,
Oh, wow.
criminalizing everyday activities like loitering or vagrancy.
So they were basically creating excuses to re-enslave Black people.
Exactly.
Wow, it's awful.
It's heartbreaking. This led to the mass incarceration of Black individuals in forced labor camps, which were essentially a continuation of slavery under a different name.
That's just horrifying. How many people were affected by this?
The numbers are staggering. Historians estimate that over 800,000 people were unjustly imprisoned in these camps between the end of the Civil War and World War II.
Wow. That's a side of history that I think a lot of people, myself included, just don't know enough about.
Right.
It's incredible that Diana's work is bringing these stories to light.
It is, and this is just one of 9 epiphanies she explores in her book.
Wow.
She really unpacks the complexities of race and the legacy of slavery in a way that's both eye-opening and thought-provoking.
You know, it's amazing to me that Diana's journey started with a single book about her own family and led her to uncover these larger truths about American history.
It's true.
It really shows the power of personal exploration and how it can connect us to something much bigger than ourselves.
It really does. And her work doesn't stop there. Remember that collaboration with our Black ancestry. That partnership led to something even bigger, the 10 Million Faces, 10 Million Names project. It's a massive undertaking by our Black ancestry in collaboration with the Mormon Church.
Wait, the Mormon Church? What do they have to do with genealogy?
Well, they actually have one of the largest genealogical databases in the world.
Really?
Yeah, they've been collecting records for decades, and they're committed to making genealogical research accessible to everyone.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So how does this project tie into Diana's work with the Hairston Ledgers?
The goal of 10 Million Faces, 10 Million Names is to provide genealogical records for the millions of people who were enslaved in the United States.
Yeah.
And those Hairston ledgers with all that detailed information about the lives of enslaved people are going to be a crucial part of this project.
So it's like all these different pieces are coming together to help people reclaim their lost heritage.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. It's estimated that the information from the Hairston ledgers will be integrated into the project within the next year and a half.
Wow.
That means countless people will have the opportunity to connect with their ancestors and learn about their family history.
You know, thinking about all this, it really strikes me that for Black families, genealogy isn't just about tracing your lineage. It's about reclaiming a history that was stolen, a sense of identity that was disrupted by slavery.
Absolutely. For so long, Black history was silenced and marginalized.
Right.
These records offer a way to restore those lost narratives and give voice to the experiences of those who were enslaved.
Like Diana is helping to rewrite history, or at least fill in the gaps that have been missing for so long.
Exactly. And what's really inspiring about Diana is her unwavering belief in the possibility of racial healing. She doesn't shy away from the painful parts of history, but she also sees this work as a catalyst for bridging divides and fostering understanding across racial lines.
I remember you mentioned earlier that Diana uses a powerful analogy to illustrate this concept of racial healing.
Oh, right.
Could you tell me more about that?
Sure. Diana often talks about the incident with Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills player who collapsed on the field after suffering a cardiac arrest.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was such a scary moment. But what was really striking was the outpouring of support and concern from everyone, regardless of team loyalty or anything else.
Exactly. And for Diana, that moment exemplifies our innate human capacity for empathy and connection. It was like all the usual divisions just melted away, and everyone was united in this shared concern for Hamlin's well-being.
So she's saying that even in the face of tragedy or intense competition, we have the potential to tap into a deeper wellspring of compassion and unity.
Right. She uses that example to highlight our shared humanity, arguing that race is just a concept, a construct that we have the power to dismantle if we choose to focus on what unites us instead of what divides us.
That's such a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels so polarized.
Yeah.
Diana's work is a reminder that beneath the surface of our differences, we have so much more in common than we might realize.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about genealogy in general. It shows us how interconnected we all are, how our stories are woven together across generations.
You know, it's interesting to think about how Diana's personal journey which started with her own family history, has led her to this much broader mission of uncovering lost lineages and promoting racial healing.
It's really a testament to the power of one person to make a difference.
Yeah.
Diana's dedication to this work is inspiring countless others to explore their own family histories and engage in these important conversations about race, identity, and the legacy of slavery.
It's amazing how one person's passion can have such a ripple effect, reaching far beyond their own immediate circle.
Right.
And it makes me wonder what seemingly insurmountable barriers in my life might be overcome through unexpected moments of human connection.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that Diana's work really encourages us to ask ourselves.
I mean, think about it. If racial barriers can seemingly melt away in a moment of crisis, like with Damar Hamlin, what other possibilities exist for us to connect with each other on a deeper level and bridge those divides that seem so entrenched?
It's really about recognizing our shared humanity and finding those common threads that bind us together, even when it seems like we have nothing in common.
I love that. And it's something that Diana embodies in her work. She's not just uncovering facts and figures. She's fostering a sense of belonging, of shared history, and of the possibility for healing and reconciliation.
And that's what makes her work so impactful. It's not just about the past. It's about creating a more just and equitable future where everyone feels seen, heard, and connected to their roots.
Speaking of seeing and hearing, Diana's work has gotten a lot of attention lately, hasn't it?
It has.
I heard that her appearance on the Wild Black podcast was a huge hit.
Oh, yeah, it was. The episode got thousands of downloads in a single day.
Wow.
People are clearly hungry for this kind of information and for these conversations about race and history.
It's like she's tapping into a collective desire to understand ourselves better, to grapple with the complexities of our past, and to find our place in the larger story of humanity.
Exactly. And it's not just about intellectual curiosity. It's about that deep human need for connection, for belonging, for understanding where we come from and how we fit into the world.
And Diana's work offers a way to access that. It's like she's providing a roadmap for people to embark on their own journeys of discovery and healing.
And in doing so, she's helping to create a more inclusive and understanding world, one story, one connection, one ancestor at a time.
You know, it's really amazing to think about the ripple effect of all of Diana's work.
It really is.
You know, she's inspired people to explore their own family histories and sparking these conversations about race and identity and really challenging us to think differently about the possibilities for healing and connection in our society.
It really is. And, you know, one of the things that really strikes me about Diana's story is that it all started with a simple act of curiosity.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just her wanting to learn more about her family.
Right.
And that led her down this incredible path of discovery, uncovering not just her own family's secrets, but also these larger truths about American history and the legacy of slavery.
Yeah, it's a reminder that sometimes the most profound journeys begin with a single question or just a spark of interest.
Right, exactly.
You know, a desire to know more.
A desire to know more.
And sometimes those discoveries can have a much wider impact than we could ever imagine.
For sure. And think about those Hairston ledgers.
Right.
They started as just a family record.
Yeah.
But now they're part of this huge project to help millions of people reconnect with their ancestors.
It's like Diana's own personal quest has become this collective mission to reclaim lost histories and restore a sense of belonging for so many people.
Absolutely. And it's all because she was brave enough to ask questions and follow where they led.
Yeah, and I think that's a really powerful message for all of us.
It is.
Curiosity can be a catalyst for so much good in the world.
Right.
It can lead to new knowledge, new connections, and even new ways of understanding ourselves and each other.
Couldn't agree more.
So if there's something you've always been curious about, don't be afraid to explore it.
Oh, yeah.
You never know what amazing discoveries might be waiting for you.
That's such great advice.
So I want to circle back to that thought-provoking question we posed earlier, inspired by Diana's work in the Damar Hamlin story.
Okay.
What seemingly insurmountable barriers in your life might be overcome through those kinds of unexpected moments of human connection?
Right. It really makes you think.
It does.
Because we all have those barriers, those challenges, those things that seem impossible to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Diana's story shows us that sometimes the most unexpected encounters, the moments where we really connect with someone on a deeper level, those can open up new possibilities and help us see things in a completely different light.
It's like that moment when everyone came together for Damar Hamlin.
Yes.
It transcended all those things that typically divide us, race, team loyalty, whatever, and reminded us that we're all human. We all have that capacity for empathy and compassion.
And that shared humanity can be a powerful force for change.
Absolutely. So I encourage you to really ponder that question. What barriers in your life might be overcome through those unexpected moments of human connection? It could be something big or small. I think the point is to be open to those moments, to recognize the power of connection, and to believe that even in the face of what seem like impossible challenges, there's always hope for healing and growth.
Well said.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It really has.
You know, Diana Roman's story is a testament to the power of curiosity, the importance of uncovering hidden truths, and the transformative potential of human connection. And it's a reminder that each of us has a role to play in shaping a more just and equitable world.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power of connection to transform lives and create a better future for all of us.
And remember, you never know what amazing discoveries might be waiting just around the corner.
TPI the Podcast is a production of TPI Media and brought to you by TPI Digital. It's all about the audience, and whatever your marketing needs, we can reach that audience. To find out more, go to tpidigital.com or click the link in the show notes.